Welcome back to this episode of the Corde Snell Show. I am the host. I'm the guy. What's up? I'm Corde Snell. How you guys been, man? What's up, Jared?
Good. How are you?
I'm good, man. How about you, Noah?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great, man. Fuck yeah. Let's talk about it. So I just recently got back. We didn't have a show last week. I just got back from Texas. Try to get on the mothership. Dude. And that was like a whole different grind. I'm not gonna lie. Like I arrived there like around 1 something. My homie took me to Black Jay's barbecue. Oh, amazing. I'm mad I'm still not there. Like, I'm not gonna lie. And then after that, I was like, should I get on Kill Tony? And then bunch of my homies like, yo, you in Austin, man, you gotta get on Kill Tony. That's the thing you gotta do, right? I was like, all right, fuck it, I'm gonna go, right? I think it was only 3:30. Signups started at 6:30. But then also the mothership was having signups at 5:30. So I go there and I'm chilling, and he's like, do you wanna, my homie had to go to work. He's like, do you want to come with me or do you want to get dropped off later? And I was like, nah, I'm going to stand out here and I'm going to do this grind thing and really just wait for signups. There was 2 lines, right? There was a group of people lined up. So I just went and just lined up there because, like, obviously this is a line for people to sign up. Find out that's the people who wants to who wants to be at the show because the show is already sold out. So it's not, the people who are trying to be on the show. It's people who just want to get into the show. And I'm like, oh, okay. Well, where's the line for people who trying to get on it? Like, oh, that's around the corner. Nobody there. Nobody's standing there. And I'm just like, oh, okay. So I'm the first one. And then I kind of migrate over there. I sit down. Then there's this dude on his motorcycle. He sits down too. He's like, you trying to get on the show? I was like, yep, sure am. He's like, oh, well, there's an open mic too. The open mic sign up is here, and the Kill Tony sign up is over there on the corner. And I'm like, okay, cool. Well, this is chill. Hell yeah, I'm just gonna sit there. And then I'm glad I bought some Gatorades and brought them with me because my dumb ass had on jeans the entire time, like not short jeans, but jeans. And I'm over here just like overwhelmingly sweating. And then also digesting some amazing barbecue, but the heat did not help this. So I'm sitting there and eventually I signed up for the mic. And then I signed up for Kill Tony. I get up on neither, but then the process of it and seeing how many people were signing up for Kill Tony and sign up for the mothership mic, I was like, yo, this is a different grind out here in Austin because I got there like 3:45. Signups wasn't before 5:30 at the mothership mic. 9:30 for Kill Tony wasn't until 6:30. And I'm just like, yo, all these people here are grinding for this one opportunity that can make them big, can make them famous. I was like, it's a different grind out here in Austin. I was like, I need to put the same kind of grind into my comedy career where I'm out here in the Bay. And I was like, it was a dope experience. Like the hype of everybody was like, they'll just yell out my name, such and such, you're on Kill Tony, almost you, like super happy for him, super, super dope. I remember there was one funny moment when a lady who was in charge of everything, it was like, hey, comics, if you're getting on the show, please make sure you have a minute. Also, please, I know this is kind of far-fetched and it's kind of harsh, but if you've never done comedy before, don't sign up for Kill Tony because we don't want this opportunity given to somebody who isn't ready and isn't prepared for it, right? And there's literally a guy before me who signed it up. He was like, oh yeah, I never did stand up, and I was just like, well then don't sign up. He was like, but F it, and I'm just like, what? Like she just said, don't sign up if you never tried it. And the people are like, yo, man, so how long you been doing it? Like, have you ever, like, where do you usually go up? Like, open mics? He's like, oh, I never tried it. It was like, what? He was like, yeah, I never tried stand up. He was like, so you trying to get up on Kill Tony tonight? He was like, yeah, man, I mean, why not? It might go well. And I was just like, in my head, I was like, if this dude gets picked and does it, like, and of course I do well, I'm be so mad because literally she's saying what not to do. Like, don't sign up if you never tried it because you have to have a structured 1-minute set. And as a veteran like me, I'm trying to figure out, okay, what jokes, how long should I talk about this one? What should I cut out? What should I do for like this? Because a minute is not too long, not long at all. I do more long form stuff. And then it was like, well, cut out this, cut out this, cut out that. It's like, if you're doing well, they might let you go to a minute, minute 15, minute and a half. And I'm like, oh, okay. So I can probably try to work this around at these few jokes that I know will pop immediately. Right. And then I'm like, here's this dude who's never tried none of that stuff. That's gonna be like, oh yeah, wing it. Let's go up and try. Best part about it, he didn't get up. That was the best part because I would have been super mad if he got up there and just be like, there goes somebody else's opportunity and he's over here wasting people's time because he's never tried. He doesn't know how to structure stuff. Like Kill Tony is not the place to go to try to figure out, oh, should I do stand up? Like, because you're literally taking away opportunity from somebody else. It can go well, but like she said, if you never done this before, don't sign up because You don't have like the reps, you don't have the rigorous, you don't have the writing and all that kind of stuff. There is some times where you do well the first time, but it's so small. It's so slim. And especially in a minute time, you're not quick-witted enough to like hurry to get to the punch or like come up with some quick-minded thing. And you'll just be like, it's up there telling jokes. Because we all see new comics. It's not great. It's okay, I see you working on some stuff here. And then you try to be great or really funny in a minute's time when you haven't practiced this at all. It's not gonna go well. That's like somebody trying to ride a bike for the first time. You get up and you just keep falling. Like, and so imagine somebody trying to ride a bike for the first time at the Tour de France.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. It's not wise.
Yeah. So he'd be like, oh, like, hey, so how long you been riding? Like, what? I haven't seen the cycle. How long you been on the circuit? Stuff like that. Oh no, that's my first time riding a bike. And he like,
just bought this bike.
What?
Craigslist, baby.
Facebook Marketplace, all right? Temu, all right?
Temu.
Just got like, why are you in a shirt and jeans? Oh, you know, like, well, I feel more comfortable wearing this than whatever slick stuff.
You haven't come in for Temu yet.
Like, where's your helmet? Oh, we need one of those? Like, like all this weird stuff that you don't know you're supposed to have, and you try to go up and kill Tony. It was just like, and he'd be like, you go to Tour de France. I mean, well, how bad can it be? Oh, we ride for like 21 days. And you just see him falling like this at the starting line. These people zooming. And it was like, I don't know who sponsored him or how he got on this tour, but he did somehow. So, yeah. And with that, I was just like, yo, it was a different beast and a different kind of grind out there in Austin. I did a few shows out there. My problem is sometimes I need to hit up people before I go places. Sometimes I like to be secretive, and then like I like to post when I'm there. And a bunch of people's like, yo, dude, why you didn't tell me? I had connections. Why you didn't tell me? And then I ran into a few people, and I did like 2 or 3 shows out there. And other times I was hanging with my homie because that's where I was staying. And I did this podcast. Shout out to Sam Gonzalez and the Mexcellence podcast. I've been posting clips on my story for like the last few weeks, whatever, about last week about it. Talked about how growing up I couldn't really read, and so my mom, to help me out, she put the subtitles and like said you can't turn the volume all the way down. Like you gotta learn how to read. So I'm gonna play your favorite cartoons, but you gotta have the subtitles on, and you just gotta read it. And I was like, you know how hard it is to figure out what the Power Rangers are doing with their helmets on. It was like, it's not that hard. I was like, you can't read nothing they say. You just see like the moves, stuff like that. Or Tommy be like, or Jason, it's more for time. And that's the only thing you know. More, okay, that's morphing because they got the thing out, right? But everything else, you don't know no dialogue. You don't know what's going on. You don't know what like Bulk and Skull are up to or any kind of funny thing. You don't know what Rita's saying because Rita got her back turned most of the time. She just yelling like, oh, she fussing at somebody. I don't know what they gonna do. I don't know what the plan is for this episode, you know? So kind of like, or imagine watching Pokemon. You can't read nothing what they saying, all right? You can't tell nothing, all right? Like that's all. You just see this. Like, you don't know what they're saying. You don't know the dialogue. You don't know what Pikachu's saying. Like, it's just like, okay.
Probably Pikachu.
Yeah, huh? What?
Probably just saying Pikachu.
Probably saying Pikachu. But, you don't know what they mean. And I'm just like, okay, what's going on here? What's going on here? It's a big struggle, all right? Shout out to the Mexcellence. Shout out to Sam Gonzalez for having me there. I think we did 3 podcasts while I was there at his house. Yeah. It was like Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. So, hell yeah.
So, is that an option for you career-wise moving forward? Or
what?
Austin.
Oh, I knew that question was coming. I don't know, man. I don't know.
How did you like the audiences out there? The taste is very particular.
Yeah. I mean, the taste was cool. I mean, I remember one of the shows I did, it was like a bunch of black people in the crowd. So they was like kind of receptive because it was like a long show too. They all kind of popped in, and then I was at the bar and I kind of got to go up. And I was like, hey, let me go up. He was like, nah, dude, I ain't gonna let somebody who's drunk been drinking like 7 or 8 vodka sodas. And I was like, first of all, I was offended. 1, I don't drink vodka soda. 2, I'm just not some regular person drunk. I was like, I'm a comedian. Let me go up. And he's like, y'all want to hear him? They was like, yeah. And I did well. And they was like, yo, you was straight out the pocket with it. You was just ready to go. I was like, yeah, man, you got if you stay ready, you ain't got to get ready. You know, that was my mindset with it. And it was like, cool.
Was that Creek and Cave? Where was that at?
No, it wasn't. So I didn't stay for Creek and Cave.
Okay.
I left Saturday and I should have stayed because I was just, I need to get back to the Bay, yada, yada, yada. I was like, I'm going to go see Eric Griffin. And I ended up going because I was too tired. I flew back early. I paid a good amount to come back early, and the whole time I got back, I was like, I was just missing the food, and I was just at my house doing nothing. I could have been in Austin doing nothing, or possibly going somewhere else, you know. And I'm just like, I was like, I should have stayed out there, missing the food immediately. I was thinking about could I like live in Austin, and it was kind of a bigger city, but the heat was getting to me, man. I'm not gonna lie. I was like, the heat was something else. And the funny about it, like you said, the crowd stuff like that. To me, it was funny because the comics was interesting. Because the comics out there was just saying more outlandish stuff because it's like, oh, we in Texas, I could say whatever, and then people still not receptive to it, and I'm just like. Like it's always funny to go to another scene and see there's bad comics everywhere. Like that's always so refreshing to me because they're like, "Oh, this scene's dope, but you go and see people from the scene and was like, "Yeah, just what I figured." You know, not a lot of good comics here either. Like I remember I'm seeing people like that was the funniest thing about me. People watching while I was in line for Kill Tony. It was just seeing like all these people who I feel like. I don't know how long they've been doing this, and I just like hear some of the stuff they're coming up with, and you can just tell who doesn't have that much time in comedy, but it's like very like opinionated about themselves or like very overly confident about themselves, and you kind of hear them going all over some jokes with their homies, and I'm like, yeah, that joke ain't it. Like, or somebody like, oh, I'm trying to figure out a way to kind of be more offensive but like funny, and I'm just like, what is this, Anthony Jeselnik 2013? Like, what are you going with this? Like, it's just so much rehashed stuff or very awkward humor. Like, I remember I saw somebody go up on one of the shows I did, and I'm just like, oh, okay, this person's cool and stuff. And it was just like super ultra dry humor that was not working. And that's what I hate the most. Like I've told stories about when I like started to figure out where I liked. I'm very like energized. I'm very like fast going, or kind of like people think you're. Most people get confused thinking I'm nervous. That's why I'm going fast. Well, actually, this is just how me and how I talk. Sometimes you just got to keep up with where I'm going to keep up with the journey kind of a thing. That's why I feel like it's kind of funny because like I just start getting super passionate about some stuff and then I keep going and then I'm speaking super fast, stuff like that. You just got to stay attentive. You got to stay with me. Stay with me now. Hold on. Stay with me. Go on this joy ride. Like do you want to go on the water ride, or you want to go on like the roller coaster that takes off and goes 65 miles per hour? That's me. I'm just on the roller coaster to go 65 miles per hour. And it's just funny to see this awkward, funny person. And I'm just like, they still doing this out here? This is still a thing. And sometimes you see people who just like, I don't know where they going with this. Or I hate this. When a comic is not doing well and they shit on the crowd and they start insulting the crowd, and it's like, no, dude. We don't know where you're going with this. Like, I remember this one dude, he was like, so what's your thoughts on slavery? And it was like Mexicans and black people in the crowd. And they were like what? Like, what? It was like, oh, y'all not fucking with me, huh? Man, this is bullshit. And then everybody was trying to do crowd work. And I'm just like, yo, establish you can do a joke first and then bring them in. Then a few people, like I was going up a little later in the show. And then like, you know, I hate when you go up later in the show and people start walking. There's nothing worse than that. Like that's the one thing about being a headliner that you guys will find out if you guys stick with it, is that sometimes being a headliner is great, but also sometimes it sucks because some whoever booked the show put some comedians on there who just starts walking people or piss people off, and you're like, oh, this is fucking what the hell. And so you gotta build it, you gotta bring them back. Like I remember one time I was at a show and my first 8 minutes, I think I was doing 35 minutes, was digging the show out of the hole the previous few comics built, right? And I'm just like, yo, I'm doing these jokes and people not really responding. Do another joke and people not really responding. And I'm doing more jokes and people still not responding. I'm like, what is going on? And then I think it was 7.5, 8 minute mark, people started laughing all of a sudden. I was like, okay, now I got them on my side. And then from then on, from 8 minutes on, I had in my pocket, I was doing well, and I was like, "Oh shit, good job, man." We're like, "Whew." It took a minute. He was like, "I'm glad I stayed." He was like, "Cause I was thinking about leaving, cause those other comics." I was like, "Who? Do you know them? You think they good?" And I always hate when the audience members ask me if I think the other previous comics was good. And I was like, "Hey, man, you know they working on stuff. You don't know.
Comedy's hard.
Yeah, comedy's hard. You know, hey,
harder for others.
Yeah, exactly." And then it was like, or the biggest compliment people always tell me, it was like, hey, I can tell you've been doing this a while because you got out there and got straight to it. And it was like, you made us funny. Like you dealt with everything. And I was like, they'd be like, how long you been doing it? I'm like, oh, like about 12 years in August. They was like, oh shit, I could tell. Because some other people like, oh, they knew. I'm like, there's always what they knew. Like, cause I ask that sometimes myself, and I can always tell if a comedian is new because I look to see where they put the mic stand, right? And if this mic stand is like right here next to them and they don't, the mic's here, I'm like, oh, this person's new. Because they're so nervous they forgot to move the mic stand. That's like the obvious way you can figure out if somebody's new in comedy. If they take the mic stand out and they're right here and it's just in front of them and they don't move it, you can just be like, hey man, just move this behind you. Or I hate one thing when somebody just like leans on the mic, because I feel like that's not them. They're taking it from some other comedian they saw. And it might be an open micer or somebody else, but that's what they do. Go ahead.
I do both of those things, and I recognize it's because I host so many things.
Yeah.
I can't, if I put the mic away, I got to put it right back.
Yeah, yeah.
But I see it when I do spots. It annoys me.
Yeah.
Because my muscle memory is to leave it.
Yeah.
And I go, this looks bad.
Yeah, it does.
But I'm used to doing a minute and a half.
Yeah.
Putting it back in, give it to someone else. So I'm trying to like remember that for myself.
Yeah.
But dude, yeah, it looks bad every time I see it now.
Yeah,
As soon as someone leans on the stand or grabs the stand, I go like they've given up on themselves.
Yeah.
Because, but then I saw Bill Burr do it.
Yeah.
And I was like, maybe you can get away with it. But on the whole, I think if you start leaning on the stand, it looks like you're losing your confidence.
I don't think they're losing their confidence. I feel like they're trying to make. I feel like they looking for a crutch in kind of a sense. But also, I feel like they've watched somebody who does this. Like when comedians sit down, which annoys me all the time, because you don't earn the right to sit down, right? That's always like a big pet peeve for me. No, I told you to stop doing that shit, especially early on in comedy, because like I hate because to me, sitting down is a lazy form of stand up, because you don't know at the point of how to bring the crowd in. Because to me, when you sit down as a comedian, I'm about to tell you a story, all right? Like, hey guys, come here, gather around. Like I've been telling you jokes, stuff like that. Now I want to tell you a story. The mood changes once you sit down. Like, okay, like, because you sit down and it's like, oh, okay, he's bringing us in. He's making it more intimate. It's coming in more, right? But if you start sitting down, you didn't gain that switch. You didn't gain the intimacy of it. Like, you be like, why is he sitting down? Like, he come up, thank you, appreciate y'all, and then sit down and be like, okay. And then it's weird because, like, comedians, when they sit down, some comedians, like, stick to the chair so much that they won't get up. Like they have this like very exciting thing, this exciting take, but they won't get out the chair. Kind of feel like it's like a wheelchair. I feel like they're like taped to it or something like that. And they're just like, oh yeah, you. And like, you know, it's like something that you should get up and do, right? They won't do that. They'll just sit there with all this energy. I'm like, bro, just stand up. Like it'll be a lot more. You start walking around. Like imagine if Chris Rock, with all the energy he has and all time he walks around, sat down the entire time. Could you imagine that? Or you could, because like Chris, you'd be like, you just see him, like imagine him just like.
Yeah, it wouldn't work.
It wouldn't work. So now I see that a lot of times. The only person who I see who does this well is Ali Sadiq. Because he comes off cool, talking to you like, hey y'all, how we doing? Yada, yada, yada. And then he's like, he starts off slow. It's like a roller coaster. Pitch gets into like everybody's seatbelts in, strapped down and stuff like that. Starts telling you a story, and you slowly like tick, 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 right? And then he says something excitement, and that's when the ride starts, right? He starts you off this and then shoots, it like kind of goes like that. But comedians don't do that. It's just annoying. I'm like, no, dude, stand up. Like you're not Big Jake Ogerson. You're not Ali Sadiq. You're not this other person. You're not Nate Jackson. Like all these other people. That's why I always hate it. Especially like if you're a low energy person, which you are sometimes, Noah. Like you gotta stand up with this first. Like but hey, y'all want to hear a story, and then you can sit down. And it's a switching up modes kind of a thing. And then
I was trying to sit down like 4 months into comedy.
Yeah.
I think as soon as you get tired.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, if you're tired, just stand up there though. Yeah. Yeah.
He'll go along with whatever I say. I can accuse him of so many things. He goes, yeah.
What? So funny. But yeah, it's super true, because I'm just like because I saw a dude. I sent him a message. I was like, hey, dude, don't sit down. It makes you very limiting sitting down. And this dude was trying to do crowd work, and in the back, and then I didn't even watch the clip because I saw him sitting down. And I was like, dude, send him a message instantly. And then I watched the clip later, and it was funny as hell because he started insulting somebody. And then they said, hey, motherfucker, you want me to come up there and hit you? He was like, what? Like he started doing crowd work to people in the back, and he was like, who you talking to me? And he was just like, oh, dude, I didn't know you was going to be so offended. And I was like, hey, yeah, bro. So after I watched the clip, I was like, hey, yeah, you might not want to say something to everybody in the crowd, because sometimes people will fight you. I was like, so pick who you pick on, all right? Pick and choose.
Oh, this guy tried to fight me in the parking lot last week.
All right. Tell this story. What the fuck, Jared? What the hell happened?
Oh, so it was Johnny Trash's roast birthday, Mike.
Okay.
Like the whole point was supposed to be roasting.
Okay.
Guy's never done comedy before.
Okay.
Comes up, does what someone's first time at comedy is like, and I went up after him, and for fun, I was like, yeah, that's comedy's hard. Clearly, you can tell.
Yeah.
Takes a while to get good at this.
Yeah.
And he was just an annoying person. He tried to pull the mic out of Josh's hand earlier. So already I'm like, I don't like this guy.
Yeah, yeah.
And so I was like, you're like a Reddit moderator. I was like, this is why kids need to get beat up when they're younger. Like, this is a kid who's never been bullied before. So he comes up to me later and he gets right up in my face. And he's a good foot taller than me because everyone is.
Yeah.
And he goes like, I don't like what you said about me. You incited violence on me. And I was like, okay.
Yeah.
And he's like, I want you to shake my hand. And I was like, no.
Yeah.
And he kept bringing that up. I want to shake my hand. I'm like, I'm not going to do that. I don't know you. I'm not going to touch you.
Yeah.
And he's like, you're a punk ass bitch. And I was like, yeah, I do comedy. What do you expect?
Yeah,
like, I'm
yeah,
not.
yeah.
I think it's over. I go outside and he starts talking to me again. He's like, are you going to shake my hand or not? I said, I'm not going to touch you.
Yeah, yeah.
And so he keeps like getting closer to me. He's like, I'm from Salinas, bro. I'll fight you. And I was like, weren't you just getting mad at me for inciting violence? You're about to incite violence right now.
Yeah.
And I felt comfortable. Like, I'm a good probably 100 pounds bigger than this kid.
Okay.
He's taller than me, but I'm like, we're not in the same weight class. Like, you get a swing in.
Triple. Yeah,
Go
yeah,
ahead.
triple. Yeah.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
He kept getting closer, and I kept not defending myself. He gets like probably a foot and a half away from me, and I'm like, "Now's your chance. If you're gonna do this, it has to be self-defense.
Yeah.
I got shit to lose."
Yeah.
And he just kind of goes like, "Man, fuck you!" Gets in his car and leaves.
That's hilarious.
And I was like, "All right." He's like, "Oh, if you try that shit next week, I'm gonna fucking fight you." I'm like, "I'll
Right.
be here, but it's not a roast mic, so I'm probably not gonna say anything.
Yeah, yeah.
Probably gonna do my material."
Yeah.
He just wasn't listening to the fact that I was like, you don't realize you walked into an event where everyone's making fun of each other.
Yeah.
This has nothing to do with you.
Yeah.
But, you know.
And then the next week he left early like a little bitch.
Ah, God, it's not like it's not like people coming into a mic and then immediately get offended because they don't know when it's comedy or they don't know the what's happening at this comedy show, so they like immediately just get offended, like what the hell you insulted me? What you doing? Like kind of stuff like that, and I'm just like, so I didn't appreciate what you said to me, and I'm like, well, I didn't appreciate you bombing, like
Yeah, exactly. This poor kid had Coke bottle glasses on too. I was like, if we get in a fight, I'm just throwing those off you.
Coke bottle glasses like the dude in Bad Boys.
Exactly.
Bad Boys,
Just, just so, like this kid
sitting
is
this close to the screen.
Yeah, this kid is damn near blind. He's trying to fight me. I was like, dude, this is not going to work well for you. I just got to slap those off your face.
You got 8 eyes, dude. That's how bad your vision is.
Just don't. Let's not do this.
Yeah.
Let's not do this.
Exactly, man. It's crazy. I wish I was there because I would have broke it up. I was like, hey, man. Because I always.
Oh, I had a homeless guy who was chilling, and he totally has my back.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. He was like standing like referee's distance away. And I kept looking at him like, he's not going to swing.
Yeah.
It's almost like in basketball where you like you don't guard the guy with 3-point line.
Yeah.
He can't shoot. I just kept going,
he can't shoot.
yeah, I just kept going, he's not going to swing. And the guy kept getting more mad, getting up closer. I was like, please, go for it. So I told him I'd have Noah beat the shit out of him. That's what I said. I said I wouldn't fight you, but I
got somebody for you.
Yeah.
Noah, handle my lightweight.
Yeah.
You ever heard that term, Noah?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, okay.
But it would be funny to watch Noah kick his ass because no one knows how to fight.
Yeah. Because I
man.
was just wondering because I was like lightweight is like an old term, but it's just like it's like handle my light. I remember sometimes it was like, hey, somebody said, hey, Corde, handle my lightweight, and I was like, this person weighs more than me. Like I was like, what do you? If it's like handle this little piece of whatever, like take care of this little thing for me. Take care of this like little thing real quick. But so basically just hey.
Handle my lightweight. I like that.
Take care of this person for me real quick, and I'm like who? And like oh right here, like oh, okay, and then like people used to say that, and people used to fight. Then it became like a thing. Yeah, like yo, such handle my lightweight. And I remember somebody said it to the wrong person one time. It's like, hey yo, handle my lightweight. So who you talking to? I ain't no lightweight. Like who you trying to think? It was like, hey yo, chill. Like yo, chill. This is like a saying. He's like, no. Handle my lightweight mean like I'm a bitch. Like what you trying to say? And I was like, whew. I was like, this is not the appropriate time for this to be happening. And I was like, we just watching, this is high school, so we just watching, like, oh, it's about to go down. Like, it's about to.
Powder cake.
Yeah. So it was like, no, this dude was big. This dude was big. So it was like, oh, this is so the good one. Like somebody about to. Yeah, but he just said it to like the wrong person. His homie calmed him down. He was like, nah, bro, it's saying now. Yada yada. I know he just got out. I was like, just got out? We in high school. What the hell? He's like, no, man, because I remember sometimes said that to me when I was like in the pen or whatever. He wasn't in the pen. He was in juvenile hall, obviously. He was like, and then all of a sudden, I got a sucker punch from behind.
San Quentin Preparatory School.
Yeah. I don't know where he went. Something like that, but it was crazy. But yeah, it's funny. Yeah, handle my lightweight. That's a new thing.
I like that.
Yeah. Hell yeah. What we talking about? Austin, Texas. Yeah, just
Well, Trump got shot. Any thoughts on that? Were you in Texas when it happened?
No, thank God I wasn't. Thank God I wasn't. Because when he got shot, Sunday?
I think so.
Yeah, I flew back.
I thought it was Friday.
Friday? Was it Friday?
Friday?
No, I was off. I think it was Saturday.
Okay.
Oh shit! It was Saturday. I had just got back. I remember I took an early flight. My flight flew out at 6. I got back like around, I think like 11ish, and then I saw later on he got shot like around 4 or 5 our time.
Yeah, Saturday, July 13th. That's when he got shot.
Yeah, okay, so good thing I did fly back early. Yeah, that's why. Because like, ooh, because well, the funny thing about this, I don't really care about this. Conspiracy stories about it, and I'm just like, this is weird. Like, what, the ear? I was just like,
okay, well, there's no way it's staged. No one's that good of a shot. But I would say what's crazy is that they let the guy shoot 5 of them before they tried to shoot him. So I'm like, maybe they were going to let this guy do it and then take the fall for it, but he was a bad shot. They showed that the Secret Service had their rifles trained on him before he took the first shot.
Yeah.
Let him hit 5 of them,
Ooh.
and then the dude that shot the shooter gets fired because he wasn't okayed to fire on him. They were going to let this kid do the entire magazine to try to kill Trump, and he was 0 for 5. He shot like Bronny James Jr. at the opening.
Stop it! Stop it! Stop it!
It was first game of Summer League, baby.
Oh, dear. Hey man, shout out to Bronny James, man. He trying out here. Most people say I'm the biggest LeBron hater, but I care about his son only because his son had a heart attack before his first year in college started.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So he's not doing well because he had a heart attack in training camp. So like around like September, because I think they started in like October or something like that. He had a heart attack in training camp. And this is like the second or third time somebody at USC under that coach had a heart problem. And I'm just like, never had it before. So I'm like, obviously this coach don't know what the fuck he's doing. He's not giving them enough rest. And he's pushing people beyond. Because also it's hot still in LA. And you probably got to see people doing some stuff. Like I remember I had a heat stroke one time at Laney College. That's why I always say fuck Laney whenever somebody bring it up. I said, did you play for Laney? No. I always say no because right, coach is doing too much. Like our coach didn't let us get a water break. I was on creatine, and that like it dries your system out, so you have to drink extra water because right. Yeah. So imagine like being on creatine, not getting a water break, or not drinking like any electrolytes. So I just sweated out all the electrolytes. Right, had a heat stroke. It was like 95 degrees that day. So on the field it was 105, and then we're just doing like all this crazy stuff, and I had a heat stroke because of that. Right, so coach is pushing you a little too far, and then Bronny enters the draft and he goes to 52nd pick, 55th pick or something like that, right? And the people are like, yo, Bronny's super trash. I'm like, yeah, he didn't get a time to develop. Had a heart attack before the season or going into the season, then came back, got cleared, I think like halfway through it. He was like top 30 like in the country before that, right? So imagine coming back from a heart attack, you barely playing like, oh, this dude only averaged 5 points, 2 rebounds. Yeah. I'm coming off a heart attack or something like that kind of big. And then it was like, oh, he's entering the draft. I'm like, no, stay another year or 2. But then I bet it's like, you don't know, like it could get worse, something like that. So we get him in the league now. But then when you see him out here coming out, breaking this, I'm like, yeah, because he still didn't have a full time. He still recovered from the heart thing. He still didn't have like time to develop his game in college.
Each game he's getting a lot better, right?
Huh?
I feel like each game
he scored, I think he scored 12 or 15 points like last game.
Yeah.
So imagine that happening in college stuff. Like he's not polished enough because he missed too much time. Coming out, he wasn't. Everybody thought he was 6'3", 6'4". Coming to find out he's 6'1", so he's shorter than what he actually is. So like if he was like 6'5", 6'6", you can kind of like bully yourself down in like the post. But because you're 6'1", you're one of the shortest people in the league coming out. Because like Allen Iverson was like 6'1". Like so imagine, and then you see him like towering, and then like
wait, Allen Iverson was 6'1"?
Yeah.
He looks so small.
Yeah, and Steph Curry is 6'3".
No, I know that.
Yeah,
I know that. Yeah.
So that's how. And then like Dwayne Wade 6'4", LeBron is 6'8", 6'9". I think LeBron is actually like 6'9", 6'10".
Well, didn't the USA photo show that some of the guys, Joel Embiid is no taller than
Joel Embiid is 7'1", 7'2", and then Kevin Durant.
Kevin Durant.
Yeah, Kevin Durant is 7 foot, but he says he's 6'10", 6'11".
Why does he say he's shorter?
Because if you're taller, then you get put in a different position. Because he's a small forward. So if he's 7 foot, you can't play 7 foot as a small forward going into it, right? So he says he's like 6'11", 6. I remember he said he was 6'10", and LeBron still says he's 6'8", but he's really like almost 6'10", because I remember LeBron and KD was like right next to each other. Like I remember in the Cavs series, and like KD's like looking down on LeBron like this. And then somebody else who walked up who was 6'8" was like kind of lower than him. Because LeBron, I remember he came in at 6'8", then he grew like an inch and a half. Because I remember he started having back problems. Because you don't finish stop growing until you're like a 25. And then Anthony Davis too.
If you're me, you stop when you're 14.
Hey man, yeah. I stopped growing. I stopped growing like at 18, 19. I was pissed because I remember I told you about my huge growth spurt, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, grew 7 inches in the 8th grade. I went from 5'2" to 5'9.5".
Yeah,
Yep.
and I said,
Yep.
That's where you missed my joke because
Yeah.
you said 7 inches, and I was like, but how tall did you get?
Exactly. Well, I grew 7 inches there and 5 inches there. There we go. Yeah, hell yeah. So it's just like crazy stuff like that, and I'm just like, bruh, like we was talking about Joel Embiid type, yeah. And then Anthony Davis super tall, and then Kevin Durant's like, oh, I'm not that tall, stuff like that. I'm actually 6'10". I'm like, dude, you're 7 foot, probably 7.5 foot. And it's just crazy because you see how like he just looks like normal height, but you see Embiid like, oh, he's 7'1", like, and then like or 7'2", and then like you see Kevin Durant next to him, like, hold on, what? Y'all almost the same height. Nah, I'm 6'10". And at that point, it kind of doesn't matter. But then when you start looking at the other tall people around him, you're like, nah, dude, you like as tall as a center, but he doesn't want to play center. But also, I wouldn't put Kevin Durant at center because he's like super short. I mean, super skinny. Anthony Davis, on the other hand, is somebody who's like probably should be leaning more into like a Joel Embiid type role because he's like, I think he's 6'11" or something like that, right? But the problem with Anthony Davis going into Duke was 6'3", 6'1", 6'2", and right, he was supposed to play point guard, right, at Duke, and then he grew 8 inches over the summer. So
Yeah, Anthony Davis is listed at 6'10".
that dude was like 6'11", but yeah, that's his problem though. So he went to Duke as a point guard. He was gonna be a point guard, and then because I think going into his senior year, I think he was like 6'1". Then like towards the end of it, he was like 6'3", and then he grew 8 more inches. So he was like 6'9", and then finished around 6'10", 6'11", right? And then to this day, Anthony Davis really hasn't like, I think till like these last 2 years really embraced it. Like I'm a big dude, not a guard. That was always the thing. It was like, yo, we need Anthony Davis in the post, and he's like, no, I'm not doing that. Like, you need to play center. No, I'm not gonna do that. And he probably, because he still envisions himself as a point guard. He tries to play like Steph, or tries to play like a shooter and all that kind of stuff. He tries to play like Kevin Durant, but he's not as great of a shooter as him. He's bigger to an extent, and it's just like, dude, no, you need to be in the post because your shot isn't as good as Kevin Durant. Like, Kevin Durant is tall and skinny and has like one of the best scorers of all time, one of the best 3-point shooters of all time as well. And then Anthony Davis isn't that. It's like, once you get closer to the basket, he's like, nah, dude, I'm not a power forward or a center. So it's crazy. But yeah.
Well, I mean, now that those guys are established players, I mean, they could just get measured for their height, and it wouldn't matter because it's like we know who they are, what they're going to play, right?
Yeah.
This is just when they went into the league, they wanted to fudge it a little bit, so they got looked at for certain positions. Yeah,
because nowadays it's more of a Euro type of game, stuff like that, where like the big dude has to be able to shoot a three. That's why Joel Embiid is shooting threes and stuff like that. And then probably back in the day when Kevin Durant coming out, if you're too tall, you're supposed to be in the post. Like, that's me. Like, Dirk Nowitzki struggled forever in the post because he was going against Tim Duncan because he was a 4 and Tim Duncan plays the 4, but Tim Duncan and Dirk Nowitzki have very different games. Like, I remember Dirk always was basically like, he basically tried to play like Kobe, but he was going against Tim Duncan. Like Dirk could get you 25, 30 and stuff like that, right? But then he go down the post and just get tormented by Shaq, Tim Duncan, Kevin Durant, like all those type dudes. And it's like, you got to go play defense against those big motherfuckers. Like, and I feel like Anthony Davis struggled with the same thing, but now it's more of a Euro league. It's more of a widen out the court more. You need to shoot threes, high percentage threes, far ranging twos and things like that. So it's very different at the time now. And then Dirk didn't finally win a ring until I think he got with a trainer where he still didn't improve his defense that much, but he was able to be more physical and get his shot off. And that's what helped him a lot. Like playing against more physical people in the offseason and like kind of like try to get physical with guys and then still getting your shot off and then not being effective versus like if I'm a finesse player and people get physical with me, that's the easiest way to take me out of my game. Because if I'm not used to being like contact and stuff like that, versus like, okay, I'm gonna go through contact, still make a shot. But versus like before, I just like I'm gonna just drop, I'm gonna shoot a fadeaway and make it. That's different. So yeah, it's just
Basketball is such a fun sport. I love watching it.
Yeah.
I like the rate at which they score.
Yeah.
There's always something interesting. Like I've never liked baseball.
Yeah.
Way too slow. Good. Baseball games are great because you can do hella shit and not miss anything.
Yeah. Hella stuff.
But even football sometimes can be a little slow for me, even though the contact is fun.
It's because not every team is great, and also you got to depend on like what team you're kind of watching. So if it's like a very defensive-oriented team, and then with a like strong running game, it's kind of a boring game. Like I remember I used to watch a lot of Pittsburgh Steelers and Ravens games, and those games was like you watch the final score of the game, and it's like 13-10. 10-7. You're like, oh, this is an ugly ass game. But if you watch it, you see how physical those kind of games are. Like that's what you want. If you want to see a low scoring game in football, you want to be physical as hell. Where like, all right, both quarterbacks threw like 2 picks. There's like 5 sacks on both sides, like that kind of stuff. Instead of just like we're just running the ball and playing good defense. Like just
really boring 3 and outs.
Really boring 3 and outs, stopping you. No one's getting hit or no one's sacking the other person.
Yeah, Raider games.
Yeah. Hey, yo, shout out to the Raiders though, because I used to this day, I think I always play with the Raiders on Madden. My homie tells me that I'm a secret Raiders fan because every single year I would play with the Raiders on Madden. And really what it is that I love dope ass shutdown cornerbacks. And for the longest week, they had Nnamdi Asomugha, right? So I mean, going into that game, I already had a shutdown corner who would always shut down the other team's best defender, right? And then I was a big Warren Sapp fan. I wanted to model my game after him. And then they had Derek Burgess back in the day. So I had a dope D tackle and a dope DN. And for defense, that's kind of the main things you need. I got a guy who can shut down a receiver. I got an interior pass rusher. I got an outside guy, right? So I'm gonna be able to get sacks and shut down this other person, right? So I'm like, all I gotta do is fix this wacky ass offense because the Raiders, they got shit on here and they overpaying all these trash ass dudes. So I'm gonna trade away. All of a sudden now I'm a good team, right? But yeah, because I still remember the year the Raiders went 2-14. I was at both those games. The 2 games they won, I was at both of them. I was like, well, obviously,
nice.
I need to come to these games more and then start winning. Because I remember they beat the Arizona Cardinals, which was like an ugly game, and then they beat the Pittsburgh Steelers, which wasn't an ugly game. It was dope as hell because it was Nnamdi Asomugha's coming out party. I think he had 2 picks in that game, and one was for like a pick 6. And I think they had like got a safety. Oh no, that was in the Arizona game. And I remember they had like 4 or 5 sacks in that game. And that year their defense was ranked number 2 overall in the league on a 2-14 team.
If they got one thing, they never have what they need on the other side.
Yeah,
they either got a killer offense, no defense.
Yeah,
you know.
And these last few years, like their defense has been trash. Like their secondary is like abysmal. Last year they finally, like you said, they finally started to develop like a really good defense, shut down defense, really like stopping people, blowing teams out. And then their offense is terrible because they don't have a good quarterback. They got Devontae Adams just throwing the ball thrown over his head, or like Jimmy Garoppolo was throwing to him in traffic, getting him killed. Like he hit him right here, or like he throw the ball behind him, and then all of a sudden the safety comes up, boom, and he was like, I remember Devontae was out. He's like, yo, get me the fuck up out of here, man. I need to get up out of here. He was like, I can't be getting killed. I'm getting hit. It was, I need to get out of here, man. I need to get out of here. And then he vouched that Jimmy Garoppolo needed to get benched because he was talking to him. He was like, hey, man. He said, this dude can't keep up with me. I was like, I'm going to just like give him a stutter move and then I'm going to just go because I can just run by this guy, right? He's like, so I should be wide open. Devontae does it. He's like, he goes, he runs his route. He gives him a stutter in and he keeps going out. Devontae Adams is wide open. There's nobody around him for like 15 yards and Jimmy Garoppolo overthrows him. And Jimmy Garoppolo doesn't have a great arm. So it's weird to see somebody overthrow somebody who's not great at throwing the ball that much. And it's just like, he just goes.
What did Jimmy G do for the Niners that gave him any kind of clout in the league?
Good looking, and he fucked a porn star. He
also went to the Super Bowl.
Before that, he good looking and fucked a porn star.
Got it. So it was never really on his performance.
Never really on his performance. QG's like an average guy. Oh, I was okay.
Just a regular guy.
Just a regular guy. Shout out to John Delight. So what it was, I remember Kyle Shanahan and the 49ers had they was going to sign Kirk Cousins. For some, like if you ever watch like a ton of Kyle Shanahan like off people or like not off people, but it's like off the Kyle Shanahan tree where they run the same similar type offensive style, stuff like that, which is a lot in the NFL right now. They all have this dope system, but they think the best quarterback to run their system is Kirk Cousins, which to me is super weird because Kirk Cousins has one playoff win in his entire career, and he's 36. So it's weird that you gonna like harp your offense to a guy who doesn't have success in the postseason. So the 49ers needed a quarterback. This is back when they was trash, before they developed to like the monster defense they are now, team that they are. They was gonna tank the season and sign Kirk Cousins in the offseason, right? And then all of a sudden, halfway through it, Jimmy G became available. So they traded like a second rounder and they got Jimmy G. And then I think they had 3 wins, some shit like that. Because I remember the game prior, 2 weeks prior, they got destroyed by the Cowboys. It was like 48-0 or 48-7, right? And then they traded for Jimmy G, and then he rattled off 6 straight wins. And it's like, oh snap! Well, he's bringing our offense to life. Like this is what we need. So they had to sign him to a big deal because his contract was up at the end of the year. So they signed him to like a 4 or 5 year, like $100 million extension, right? So then next year, I think he takes them to the Super Bowl. And then everyone was like, yo, this is super dope or stuff like that. Or next year, I think he tears his ACL or something like that. 1 or 2. And then after that, he was just a dope ass game manager who just like execute the offense, get this done, hit here, throw here, like guys open, throw it there, guys open, throw it there. But he didn't really elevate the team when it comes to like when everything breaks down, I can do this kind of a thing. It was just like, I need you to like, okay, you're gonna call it like this guy will come open right there. I can hit it, boom, right there. Like this guy come up right here, boom, I can hit it right there, right? And then the people just came enamored with him because it's like, oh snap, our offense is finally good. This dude's great, right? He's like really dope. We got a dope defense now, yada yada yada. And I remember I still don't give Jimmy G any credit because there was one when they played the Packers and they blew out the Packers in the NFC Championship game. Jimmy G threw 8 passes and they beat them like 38-7, and like they ran the ball like 34 times. And it was like, oh dude, man, Jimmy G's the guy, man. Jimmy G is the fucking man. And then right, and then they got to the Super Bowl, and then Kyle Shanahan realized, oh, I can't put the game on this dude's hand, like in this dude's shoulders, because he won't get it done. Like he'll like kind of like, I remember the Super Bowl, he dropped back and threw a pass with his eyes closed, and it was an interception. Yeah, it was like a slow down. It was like because the guy was about to hit him, and he was just like,
wow, I didn't know that.
And he just throw like a lot of passes like over the middle of the field, which is it's the most crowded place that you're supposed to like not throw. If I'm gonna throw it to a receiver, I'm gonna throw it to an outside receiver where it's only gonna be about him to get it, or like is it either he's gonna get it or it's gonna be incomplete. Throw it outside, is either he's gonna get it or it's gonna be incomplete. I'm not gonna give the defender opportunity to catch the ball, make a turnover, throw a pick. Right? I'm throwing at the middle of the field where there's probably one person on my team and 4 defenders around him, and that's when he threw that pick. And I remember this is when they lost to the Chiefs the first time, right? And I remember they was up 2010, and they was okay. Kyle was like, okay, I'm gonna start running the clock, or I'm gonna try to start doing something, and then try to keep it close so I can keep this lead. And then Jimmy G. There was Emmanuel Sanders streaking down the middle of the field, wide open. Jimmy G dropped back, throws it to him, overthrows him by 5 yards, just like how he did with Devontae Adams. And it's just like, Jimmy ain't the guy. They still had him and stuff like that, still brought him back. And then they just actually eventually just start noticing this, like, okay, like our team is great, but when push comes to shove and my scheme doesn't work, we need somebody better. That's why they traded those 3 first-round picks and got Trey Lance, which everybody says was like a terrible thing, was like stupid. Why'd you give up all these different picks and stuff like that? But you had a guy who did everything that you need to do in the system, but he couldn't elevate you. So you get the guy who was more talented, a little more raw, but had like a lot more tools that you work with, and we can develop them to really become like a Patrick Mahomes like guy, like tall, strong, mobile, can run and stuff like that. But then Kyle Shanahan doesn't know how to coach those guys. That's my opinion, and every time I've seen it, doesn't know how to coach black quarterbacks really. I know how to take this average guy, and if he can like just throw got it. I could go far with this guy. The guy who has more tools, the better arm, is accurate, but he's mobile. So if he's mobile, we got to run him. If he's mobile, we got to run him immediately. But Kyle, like in his offense, he runs a lot of bootlegs. But Kyle's not scheming up bootlegs for this guy. No, I'm going to do a read option and have him run right up in the middle where the D tackles and linebackers, the biggest dude on the team is. And then boom, Trey Lance breaks his ankles out for the rest of the game, rest of the season. Then Jimmy G comes in. he is doing well, and it was like, oh, Jimmy G's back. Yes, Jimmy G. Can you believe what we did to we had him on the sideline not practicing? I'm like, Jimmy G ain't won shit for you. He ain't took you to the Super Bowl, but he keeps underachieving each time, right? Then he gets hurt, and that's when Brock Purdy comes in. Another guy who's like, but Brock Purdy's like the weird thing about it, because it's like he doesn't look super talented, but he's actually pretty good of a gamer. But he was in college for like 4 years. He had shootouts, but also he's surrounded by a great team. That's why Purdy doesn't give a lot of credit nowadays. People in the media give it to him because they just like to say the Niners is great. But if you look at it, it's harder to like decipher, is he really that good, or is Kyle Shanahan's offense, because he runs an amazing offense. Plus, we see everything that Brock Purdy did. We saw Jimmy G do the exact same thing. You know.
Could just be a good program.
Exactly.
And he's just filling his role as he should be for the program. Yeah.
Like imagine, okay. Imagine Kyle Shanahan got Cam Newton in his prime and couldn't make it work. And you're just like, oh, damn, like Cam Newton couldn't fit this offense. And then you get somebody like, who's an average QB.
Yes, no, he knows a lot more about football than I do.
Who's an average QB, like a Sam Darnold?
Yeah, okay. He gets Sam Darnold. And then all of a sudden, Cam Newton can work, right? But then Sam Darnold looks amazing, throwing for 300 yards, 4 touchdowns, all that kind of stuff. And you just like, how do you like, well, Cam's not the guy. And then Cam goes somewhere else and takes a team on his back and does all this kind of stuff. So funny thing about it, you mentioned Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold got beat out Trey Lance, right? I'm not afraid to say this. He said he beat out Trey Lance. And I remember Kyle, sometimes sometimes coaches have their guys, and Trey Lance wasn't his guy. He said Sam Darnold beat out Trey Lance, and I'm just like, I don't believe it at all. Because it didn't happen, right? This is what happened. He said, oh, Sam Darnold separated himself about like 9 days ago in training camp. He was like, yeah, and a homie of mine who's like plugged in, because I know some people who's like around, like who knows like insiders and like I know some shit. He's like, this is a fucking lie, because the day he said Darnold separated himself, he went 1 of 7 or something like that. I don't know if he went like 1 of 7 or he threw 1 pass and threw 7 interceptions. But he said Sam Darnold had a terrible day that day. But it was just the fact that Kyle, like Sam, more like Trey, because you could see like, oh, I could fix that guy, right? It's always that kind of a thing where it's weird, where coaches be like, I could fix this. I know how to. I get the most out of him, right? But you see a guy who you don't really want, who's not the usual type of quarterback you usually coach, you be like, I can't really do no with this guy. He's just not. I don't know. I can't. He's just not. And then so they just moved on from Trey Lance versus like sticking with him. And when you see that with a lot of teams, when he's not the coach's guy, a coach will undermine him anytime. Kind of set him up to fail. Like I remember they did this with Robert Griffin when his time in Washington, right? Robert Griffin had his own little things, but I remember Jay Gruden came in and he was supposed to up coach Robert Griffin, supposed to make him better stuff, right? He benched him immediately for Kirk Cousins because Kirk Cousins was his guy. That was, he's like, I like this guy. I don't like Robert. He's too flashy. He has like a crew. And they always try to associate like other stuff with like a black quarterback. They try to say he does all this stuff off the field. He doesn't focus, stuff like that, right? So anytime Robert messed up something, Jay Gruden would just be on him. He was like, oh, well, he was supposed to take a 3-step. He took 1 step. He's supposed to take a 5-step. He took 3. He's supposed to take a 7-step. He took 5, right? But then what he didn't say was that he played behind the second string offensive line, who's usually people who are not that good. And he was having to do 7-step drops, which is the longest developing passing play. And then if these guys can't pass block, what's going to happen?
The pocket will collapse.
The pocket will collapse. So I'm driving back 7, and then all of a sudden I see people coming, so I throw 5. Like, that's what he wasn't. Like, I remember he took a 3-step drop and got hit, which is the quickest play. Like, all you got to do is catch the ball, 1, 2, ball's out. And he was like, getting hit. So I'm just like, all right. And then with Kirk Cousins, Jay Gruden was defending him way differently. He'd be like, hey, so Kirk Cousins was like 20 of like 40 today, or like 22 of 42. What was the reason? Why? Like, you did the play call, something like that? He's like, guys, it was super windy today. What do you expect? Like, come on, like the wind, the gust here, it's hard for anybody to throw in those situations. And I was like, what? I was like, I've never heard the contrast of defending 2 different players on the same team. He was like, great defense out there. It's hard to complete balls on them. So, anybody will struggle. So this is how we defended Kirk. Wouldn't undermine him at all, stuff like that. So I was just like, so it sucks. Yeah, 10 minutes? Okay, cool. We got way off on sports stuff, so I like it though. I can talk sports all day. I don't know if you guys know this, but I can talk sports all day. This is like my thing, especially football. I go deep into it. Like I remember because I wanted to go pro, and so I remember they always said the young dudes don't study. So I remember early on, like NFL Network was like this new channel. So I used to watch all the old stuff, like In Their Own Words, A Football Life. I wanted to be like a aficionado when it comes to football knowledge and studying. So they can never say like, well, the reason why you didn't make it far in football is because you didn't study enough. Like, now I still remember one time I was at a meeting. I was playing linebacker at the time, right? Our coach was showing us how to watch film and how to watch yourself as a linebacker and to see if you took false steps, if you did the right play, or if you like went to the right gap. It was like, I was like, oh shit, this is what I'm supposed to learn. Like, this is like how you become like a better film person and stuff like that. So he was like, we're going to watch each linebacker here because we all played, and we're going to see if they took a false step, if they didn't read good, like stuff like that. Like if it was a run, so it was like a run play, but they dropped back for a pass. If it was a pass play, but they stepped up for a run, like all this kind of stuff to kind of critique yourself, right? And I remember I'm kind of in the back because like I knew like, okay, I'm gonna listen, I'm gonna write all these notes down, right? And then, so it's like 8 linebackers in there, right? And then our coach is going over stuff, and we watched like about 10 to 15 plays. And then everybody got like a pen and paper out, right? Or some did, some didn't. I had mine out. And it was like, he's like, and he just randomly stopped the film. He was like, hey, let me see your sheet. He was like, what? So let me see your sheet. And he was like, oh, coach, I didn't pull out no pen and paper. He's like, son, how you going to be an effective linebacker if you ain't studying and writing this stuff down? And he was like, okay, look. And he was asking somebody, he's like, oh, I ain't got a pen and paper. He's like, I ain't got a pen and paper either. He was like, I told y'all to bring pen and paper. He was like, yeah, but we were supposed to get that from. He was like, y'all students, right? Bring it from your backpack. Then he asked another guy who was like starting, and like me and him was kind of like, he was smaller and kind of faster than me. So they was saying like, okay, we're going to put him in because he looks like the size of a linebacker. That's like another thing too. Coach always be like, he looks like the perfect prototypical size, right? And then he checks his pen and paper, right? And then it's just like, he's like, we watched 15 plays. Why you only have 3 marks on 1 play? Or like you have 3 different things on 3 plays, whatever. And he was like, oh, man, fuck. He's like, man, coach. Like, he's like, Coach Stans, love this dude to death. He's like, fuck all this. Snell, let me see your pen and paper. I was like, so where you at? I was like, you the middle linebacker. You should be up here leading us. And I was like, I ain't trying to be stepping on too many people's toes. He's like, yeah, no, you're supposed to be leadership. Let me see your paper. It's like all these other people, right? And then he saw my paper, and it was so detailed from the very start. I was like, oh, set this up. I'll put the name of the linebacker. I took the wrong steps, like run play, and he dropped back for a pass. I was like, so that's 2 false steps, stuff like that. I was like, pass play, he went for the run. He got bit up on the play action, stuff like that. I was like, he took 3 to 4 false steps, and that's why he wasn't back in coverage. I was like, I was like, I stepped left when the play went right. I was like, so I could have got there on the counter, should have shot the gap, stuff like that. And I remember he was just like, hey, Snell, come sit up here by me. Or I remember he was like, I was like, I want to stay back here. He was like, no, you need to stand up here because this is how he's like, he wouldn't turn the lights on. He said, you see this? He's like, we got through 7 plays or 15 plays. You see how his whole worksheet or his whole sheet has a ton of notes on it? This is how you study. And he was like, Snell, who taught you how to study? I was like, nobody. He was like, what? He's like, why you got all these notes? I was like, well, you told me that I needed to write some notes down. That's what I did. I was like, and I don't want to be somebody who they said wasn't prepared, didn't know how to study. I was like, I've never done stuff like this, so I'm taking all these notes because this is how I'm going to like succeed. And he was like, so how's your grades? I was like, I'm like an AB student. He was like, I see why. He's like, you probably be a straight A student. He's like, well, probably some of them classes you got a B in, it's probably harder. He's like, yeah. I was like, I was taking like chem and stuff like that, or like physics. He's like, you taking physics? I was like, yeah. He was like, whew. He's like, I don't know why.
I always feel like physics is way easier than chem. You could see physics. Like when you do your calculations, you could tell if the little race car's going 2,000 miles an hour, you missed a fucking decimal.
I never got physics though. That was the one thing I couldn't do, but I got chem. Biology was cool, but I remember I got chem.
What are moles?
Huh?
What are moles, dude? I never got that in chem. We had to do
moles? Like what? Like the?
It's like something to do it. Let me look it up.
I remember it was like
I just remember we always had to calculate the moles of an element.
Yeah, I remember. So that kind of messed me up. Like the nucleus. Is this a nucleus or is this like an atom? Is this a positive or negative atom and stuff like that? That kind of stuff. And then where do they all go? Where in the nucleus do they go to? Or they're like, is it something bigger kind of a thing? And I was like, that kind of messed with me. But I liked the fact like when you could positive, negative and stuff like that because it kind of reminded me of math. So I was able to get it. But physics was just like a whole other monster. I just remember an object in motion stays in motion unless acted on by outside force. So I remember that was like the thing that stuck with me since high school. But I hated physics. What a passion. So yeah.
I didn't do either one.
Really?
Nope. I barely passed bio.
I did both, but I was dating a girl who ended up studying biochem at UC Berkeley.
Oh,
So I didn't do any of my homework, and I didn't learn chem, but I liked physics.
Okay.
I'm all about the physical, dog.
Physical. And we trying to create some history together. I was like, I wonder why you got with her in chemistry, because y'all had a lot of chemistry together, and then y'all
I found me a cute little ginger girl, really good, calculating the moles.
Oh, hell yeah. Hell, she had moles on her face too?
My body,
hell yeah. This got way heavier in the sports than I expected, but hell yeah. Did I ever tell y'all the story about my dad? My dad didn't let me buy a Pokemon game before. Did I tell y'all that story?
No, which game?
It was Pokemon Red. It was Pokemon Red.
OG, dude.
OG.
My first one was Yellow, but that first gen is incredible.
Incredible. Yellow was trash. I'm not gonna lie. Yellow, the graphics was better, but they eliminated all the cheat codes in Yellow. So that's why it was trash. Like, it was dope that Pikachu follow you around, but they had no.
You get all the starters.
True.
Yeah.
So that was kind of cool. So they made like little changes, stuff like that here and there, and the graphics got a little better. But other than that, she was trash. Because I remember
like the remake, the Fire Red for the Game Boy Advance. I liked it a lot. That was like my favorite
had
one.
it. Or I think I had Leaf Green or one of them. I'm like, you compare it to the one where there was just easy to cheat on. So that's why I was just like, so it was like that. Because I remember like the duplication code was something else. It was like next level. All right, because it was any item you had, you can duplicate it to make it like over 100. And it was the way it appeared, it was just dope. Like, I remember this thing called rare candies, right?
Yeah.
And it'll help you grow a level just like instantaneously. And I remember there was like 6 to 7 rare candies throughout the whole Kanto region, right? But then if you knew the duplication code, I would just purposely never go pick up these other items and just duplicate them anytime, right? And then the funny thing about it was weird because I remember my cousins would always mess up. They was like, oh, I thought it was more rare candies than this, because sometimes it'll be like one, it'll be like a block, or one be like this weird little thing. And then like, that's how you know you still have more. But sometimes they would use the one rare candy on a Pokemon. I'm like, bro, why did you do that? He's like, oh, I thought I had more. I was like, why don't you just go duplicate it and then come back and use it? That's all you just always, or like what I did start doing, I started storing items in like my computer. So that was like a whole other thing, right? So, it was just easy to make dope ass Pokemon, dope ass lineups because of that. And so then Yellow was like, you got to actually train these mugs. Like, you got to take them here, you got to take them to this region. And versus like, I would train them for like a little bit, right? And then I trained them for a little bit, and then I would just like start evolving them and give them rare candy and stuff like that. Or it was like a character where I'm just trying to get the evolve form of it. Like, I would just go capture it, make it evolve to like, cause if you catch a Slowpoke at level 15, you got to train it to get to like level 38. And I'm like, I'm not trying to train a Slowpoke. I don't want a Slowpoke. So I just like rare candy, level 38, boom, got a Slowbro. Like, okay, cool. And then later on, I would like actually catch one and develop them, actually make them super strong and add it to like my roster, right? But in Yellow, if you caught him at 15, you got to train him.
You had to play the game.
You had to play the game. And that's
you had to be a Pokemon trainer.
Yeah, but that stuff got hard though. I mean, because
of course, no, for sure.
Because nobody. I mean, okay, because sometimes you don't want every Pokemon to be like you was never gonna play with them, so you don't want to train every single one. Like I remember, like a Golbat or like a Zubat. Like the Zubat was like the hardest one because like you get punched and like, oh, fainted. Like, oh, dang. Like, so all the necessary items to keep training this Pokemon to was like ridiculously hard. Like, it was just a bunch versus like, okay, well, I just want a Golbat, so I'm just going to capture this Pokemon and just like evolve them. That's all I'm trying to do. Versus like, if I want a dope one, I'll come back later to do that. Like, sometimes I always wanted to fill out my Pokédex, which was like dope. But I was like, I don't want to do all the training like all the time. Like, sometimes that's because what happened was sometimes you could do random trades to get. I remember
some Pokemon only evolve via trade.
Yeah,
Gengar, Alakazam,
yeah,
Machamp,
yeah. Machoke to Machamp, yeah, and there's like a few others, but yeah, like I remember sometimes you would need to get like hey, do you have a Cloyster? I'll trade you something for like a Pokemon that doesn't come up that you can't capture,
right?
So they'd be like, now I gotta just evolve this random Pokemon that I spent all this time trading. Like, do I actually want to trade them to this motherfucker? Because I don't know how good this.
And you did like in-game trades, they always had a nickname.
Yeah, exactly.
I hated that.
Yeah. It was like a weird nickname too. Like
Stupid.
Makes no sense.
Yeah.
Like I remember
You couldn't change it.
Yeah. It was like you get a Farfetch from somebody for trading like like an evolved form, like a Machoke or something like that, or something like I'm like, you know, a level you gotta play with this Pokemon to get to Machoke, and it's like 30 something. So that's why I would say like Yellow was harder, because to get those trades, you literally had to sit there and evolve a Pokemon, and you're just like, I'm just doing this for a trade. Like I don't want to keep spending like 20 hours just to gotta get this one Pokemon. Versus in Red and Blue, the original version, okay, rare candy, evolve, boom, I'm going to that dude, I'm trading him, boom, I got him back. Like it was kind of simple like that. That's why I said like that game was easier. And then sometimes too, if you want to make like the Elite Four, which is always dope. Like I always loved going and whooping on Elite Four, because I'll be like, okay, cool, so my level is this, my level is that, and after a while, you know how you playing with Pokemon, it takes forever for like if you're like Blastoise or your Charizard or your Venusaur is at level 67, it's gonna take forever to get to 68. So after a while, you've been training since like the beginning. Okay, I'm gonna just let them level them up like 10 levels because I just got killed by the Elite Four, like, you know, and other stuff like that, like a maximum potion, a full restore, full health, and all that kind of stuff was just easy to duplicate too, to make sure that you would always win a battle. Because it was never worse than facing like a Dragonite, and then you get them down to like this much left, and then Lance was like the name of the the dude in Elite Four. Full restore, and you got to, you're like, oh my god, like I'm down to my last Pokemon. How the hell?
So what you'd always had to do, you had to get it to like low, because it goes what, green, yellow,
Yeah.
orange, then red.
Red, yeah.
If they get into orange, they will full restore.
Yeah.
So you wanted to hit. You wanted it to go just the very, very end of yellow, and then have like your Hyper Beam ready, or something to like click. Because if you didn't kill him, then he was gonna full restore.
It was
you're like, nah.
I remember I played against somebody. He used full restore several different times, and I remember this was the one thing I hated about the early systems, because you watch the game, and sometimes Pokemon would just evolve in the middle of a match, but in the early stages they wouldn't do that. And I still don't think they do it in games now. Like you can like level up to the level, right, and then like level 16 was always like the main level for like the first evolve form, right? And then like he would like level 16, and okay, I'm about to evolve, right? And then sometimes it'd be hard because, right, if you die at level 16 but you didn't survive the match, your Pokemon won't evolve.
Right, you had to wait to the next level.
So you had to wait to the next level. And I remember one time I was at level 15 and I was playing like some thing, and it was like level 40. So I jumped from level 15 to level 17, level 18. So he just never evolved. So I had like a level 18 Bulbasaur. And I was like, why is this fool not evolving? And I kept like leveling up levels, and it was like, oh, because you missed your evolve level, it's never going to evolve. And I was like, what the hell? So I had to restart it.
Yeah, it should do it that must have been a glitch then, because it's supposed to do it every thing, but if you don't evolve them, they learn the moves faster.
Yeah.
So he'll learn Solar Beam at like level 32, where Venusaur learns it at level 40 or something like that. Yeah. So that's a trade-off, because you go, I'm going to sacrifice all the stats in the short term for the moves quicker.
Yeah.
I never did that, except in the manga, like Red has a Squirtle. He never evolves it. He has a Charizard and he has an Ivysaur.
Yeah.
And then he does Lapras and Snorlax. Yeah. And I repeated that team and the Pikachu for Pokemon Yellow. Yeah. I repeated that team. But it's God, we could talk about this forever. We gotta wrap this up though.
Squirtle Squad, hell yeah. I always thought it was dumb, like how like Red or Ash would never evolve some of his Pokemon. Like the fact that he never evolved Pikachu into Raichu, and I was just like, I always felt too, like real quick, that Pikachu, because Ash never evolved it, should have evolved into something random that only like some dope form that wasn't Raichu, because you needed the stone to evolve Pikachu, but something else that it kind of like he just actually got touched by something and it evolved to like some other dope Pokemon.
Autistichu.
All those dope things, yeah. I always thought that, I was like, that would be dope, but it was like, but why would they do that? I was like, the show don't follow the game anyway, so they could do random stuff like the weird, like how is it that every time Ash will go to a new region, he would get beat by Pikachu would get beat by a starter Pokemon? Made no sense. Like, because we all know starter Pokemon are like level 4, level 5. He's had this Pikachu took down a Dragonite.
Yeah, it's definitely like, at the time he receives it, it's like a level 80 Pikachu, which is why he doesn't listen to him.
Yeah, like, exactly.
I think that's the whole big thing, is that Ash is not necessarily that great a trainer, but he was given a like the strongest Pikachu in Kanto.
It probably was. Yeah, it probably was like a level 30 Pikachu or something like this. I captured this like outside. Like, or when Charizard really didn't listen to him. Like, he just evolved hella quick just like and beat Magmar. And then after that, he just never listened to him at all. I was just like, bruh. I was like, this Charizard must be a level 50. I was like, because ain't no way he not listening to you at level 36. I was like, you've been having it like since it was like little. I was like, this Charizard must have evolved to level 36. Like I said, like again, I remember Charmeleon didn't like him. So he just like, which is crazy because I remember Charmander almost died. Protected him, that's all he came with him. He upgraded to Charmeleon, and Charmeleon hated him. And it was like, I ain't listening to you at all. Like, I ain't doing nothing you say. And then literally he got teased by somebody who was flying. So Charmeleon evolved in Charizard so he can whoop on somebody, right? And then Charizard didn't respect him at all. So I'm just like, what the hell? Like, what level is this Charizard at? Like, that's dumb.
They did a lot of crazy stuff for the narrative.
So, and that was another thing. I'm saying, like, you can evolve middle of a fight because you mad. Like,
yeah.
Like, just it's like he was like cha 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 cha, like boom, and all of a sudden, and I'm like, how much dope would video games be if like middle of a fight, all of a sudden you get low, and then all of a sudden like you grew a level and then you evolve? Like, that'd be ridiculous. But you gotta make a game hard. Well, I guess that's it. We talked about a lot of different stuff. I had most stuff on this page that I didn't get to, but we talked about a lot about Texas when I possibly moved there. I don't know, maybe not, but it's hot as hell. So if you like this, please, if you like this episode, please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, share this with people. Let us know about the Corde Snell show. Oh, also, did you get your hour of Corde this week? Did you get your 60 minutes of Corde this week? 60 minutes of Corde helps improve your day, makes your day better. Also, if you have any questions or any concerns or just want to email and talk to us on the podcast, please email the Corde Snell Show at gmail.com and we'll get back to you. And this has been the Corde Snell Show, and we out.